Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we don't take you for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. So without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups discussed in our previous video before we dive into next week's analysis. Last week we had a setup from GBPCAD where we were expecting a higher low formation from the reaction we had from the area of interest, where we had this strong bullish engulfing candle, and which broke this 4-hour structure. So we're waiting for a pullback into this pullback to retest this 4-hour structure to give us an entry. Price pulled back the first time and bought a little bit and came back to the entry level again, and then we were able to enter this trade. So we are currently in this trade for GBPCAD, where we are targeting the 4-hour butterfly PRZ as our ultimate target. So going into next week, we'll be looking out for further opportunities as price is pulling back. So going into next week, if we are able to get this pullback into this zone, or the line below, just this line, or just this zone, or this regions below this very first zone, if we're able to get buying confirmations in any of these areas, we'll be interested in adding more positions to continue the buys to the upside to complete this 4-hour butterfly pattern which we identified several weeks ago. We have here UK 100, and for UK 100 we actually took a loss. So price gave us a nice break of this area of interest. We came back for a retest, and price actually formed a double top, which we actually fell for, and then we took our entry. So this was a double top. This is the double top we saw, and which gave us the confirmation for our entry. So we saw the double top neckline which got broken here. So we took our entry here and put our stop loss above the double top, and we got taken out. And then later price gave us price started developing a head and shoulder formation. So you can see the left shoulder, the head, and the possible. So we're expecting the possible right shoulder to have pulled back a bit higher for us to get a sell entry to take to the downside. But unfortunately, we missed the trade. Price was some few pips shy of our entry, so we actually missed out on this trade, which went straight to our TP, our desired TP. So we actually took a loss on FTSE 100 or UK 100 for last week. So going into next week, if we are fortunate and price pulls back into this area of interest again, we'll actually wait for more confirmations before we can engage the sell. But so then we are not really looking for any other opportunities on UK 100 for now, for the coming week. We have here NZDUSD. So last week we were expecting price to pull back into this area of interest to give us some confirmations before we take ourselves to the downside. We're fortunate to see price pull back into the area of interest. By the entry, confirmations was not very clear around this area, but then price reacted from the area and just went down straight and to our second TP. So we also missed out on this trade, even though it went in our direction, our expected direction. We have here AUDUSD, which was a similar setup as the NZDUSD, where we were expecting price to either pull back to this very first zone or the second zone. Price pulled back a bit higher or deeper, and then we couldn't catch this setup. This trade. The confirmation was not very clear, and price went straight to its TP as well. So we missed out on the AUDUSD as well. We also have here GBPNZD. So for GBPNZD, we were also expecting price to pull back a bit deeper into this area of interest to give us the confirmations to the upside to complete this 1-hour crab pattern. And price actually, yes, reacted from the zone, but the confirmations here were also very not clear. So we're not too sure of entering the trade, even though it went straight to our TP as we were expecting. So we also missed out on this GBP NZD setup. So let's go through the economic calendar for the coming week, then we dive into the charts for the coming week. This week we have, or the coming week, we have a lot of CPIs for the coming week on Monday. So I'm laying emphasis on the high impact news for the economic calendar. So on Monday, there's no high impact news on Monday. On Tuesday, we have the CADJPY, and on Wednesday, we have the GBP CPI. And on Thursday, we don't have any high impact news on Thursday. And on Friday, we have the various PMIs for for the Euro, and then the GBP. And then also we have the CPI for the US dollar on Friday. And we also have the flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI for the USD. Let's also bear in mind that the US government shutdown is still in motion, or is still around. So we have to take caution when it comes to the fundamentals or the high impact news with the USD pairs for the coming week. So let's jump into the charts and see what we have for the coming week. So this is DXY. We are starting with DXY for next week's analysis. So from the previous weeks, we anticipated that price was going to react from this very zone, give us a buying opportunity, break this trend line or break this area of resistance, then come for a possible pullback. And as we can see, it looks like price has actually pulled back into our expected area. So we'll wait for some confirmations, or wait for more confirmations within this area to consider our buying bias on DXY. So this can only shift bearish if we get price to break this zone and then transfer retest and continues to sell to the downside. But until then, we are still bullish on the DXY. And as we go forward, we realize that a pair like USDCHF is actually giving us a different interpretation. Something like it's giving us an opposite direction as to what the DXY is delivering or showing us currently. So look at that as well in the other various USD pairs. So we have here JPY index. So for the JPY index, as of last week, we were anticipating price to pull back into this area of interest, which price pulled back and gave us this strong rejection candle. So for the coming week, we'll also be waiting for more price action within this area and see if we can get some selling opportunities for the Japanese yen index. And so if we are able to get confirmations like a double top within this area or a head and shoulder within this area, we'll be much interested in taking the sells on the Japanese yen index, which means the XXX JPY pairs, we will likely see some buys on the XXX JPY pairs for the coming week. So let's look out for that. We have here EURUSD. So EURUSD, we're holding a position, a sell position, which hit its first TP around here, and we're expecting that price was going to continue to the downside. But before that continuation, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest, then give us selling confirmations to the downside. So price actually came back and then took out on BE. It took the trade out on BE and then actually gave us a reaction on the area of interest, just as we saw on DXY. So for the coming week, we'll be waiting for more confirmations. So if we're able to get these are the possible scenarios. If we're able to get a lower high formation and then get confirmations within this zone again, we'll be interested in taking the sells to the downside to the previous target that we had from previous episodes. Or should price give us a double top formation or any strong reversal pattern formation within this area, we'll be interested in taking the sells on EURUSD. Just as DXY also showing us a possible strong or a possible bullish continuation on the DXY, and we'll only be interested in buys or EURUSD will be classified bullish if we're able to break above this zone and come for a retest. But until then, we still have a bearish sentiment on EURUSD, so we have to wait for more price action to give us our confirmations to decide our direction. We also have here GBP, USD, and they also had a position on this trade or on this pair, and fortunately price had not been taken out. Well, it didn't get anywhere close, so we were expecting a pullback to this area of interest as of last weekend. We're expecting price to react from here and give us a selling opportunity to the downside, and as you can see, we have this nice is it doji or more like an indecision candle that formed at the end of the week. So for the coming week, we'll be expecting probably a bearish engulfing candle from a daily bearish engulfing candle to give us a confirmation for the sells or for our decision to sell, or we'll look out for the development of a reversal pattern or strong bearish confirmation. So if we're able to get like a double top formation around here, or we get a head and shoulder formation around here, we'll be interested in taking the sales to the downside and target this ultimate target that we had around 1.31009 for GBP USD. So we have here USDCHF. So for USDCHF, we have this huge harmonic pattern developing. So this is the overall view of USDCHF. We have this X, we have this A, we have this B leg, we have this C leg, and we're expecting the completion of this harmonic pattern, which hasn't yet been fulfilled. So looking at what price is forming right now, as you can see, price is very bearish on the weekly perspective, very bearish on the daily perspective, and very bearish on the 4-hour perspective. So this pair in particular is giving a counter view of what we are looking forward to for the coming week on DXY. So going into next week, we'll be looking forward to these. We're looking forward to a pullback into this area of interest. We're looking forward to a pullback into this very first area of interest, and look for selling opportunities to complete this deep grab pattern that we identified on the higher time frame. Or should price pull back a bit higher to this area or a bit deeper to this area, we'll be much interested in looking for selling opportunities to complete this deep grab pattern, even though DXY is showing us otherwise. So we have to be sure of our confirmations before we engage any of these trades. So price can shift bullish if we are able to get a weekly candle to clear these zones, and then we look for a continuation to the upside. So until then, we are very bearish on USDCHF for the coming week. We have here AUDUSD. We had this setup from last week where we were expecting price to pull back to this area of interest to give us a selling opportunity to the downside, and price has not yet made its way to the area of interest. So for the coming week, we're going to look at the same thing. We'll be looking forward to a pullback into this area of interest and look for selling opportunities to complete this move. Should price break above this zone and give us a retest, we'll be interested in taking the buys to the upside. But until then, we are very bearish on AUDUSD for now. We also have here NZDUSD, which we had this setup also from last week, where we were expecting price to pull back into this area of interest to give us selling opportunities to the downside. And price is yet to make its way to the area of interest for us to take our sales from. So we're waiting patient and wait for price to pull back to this area of interest and for selling opportunities to the downside. So for NZDUSD, it is extremely bearish. It's very, 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 very bearish. We can now start. We might consider a bullish move should price break this structural high, this daily structural high, come for a retest or come for a deeper pullback. Then we continue the buy to the upside. But until then, we are very, very, very bearish on NZDUSD. We have here USDJPY. We had this setup from last week where we were expecting price to pull back into this very first area of interest and give us buying or confirmations to the upside. And we can see this strong rejection from this very first zone. So for the coming week, we'll be looking out for reversal patterns within this zone. Whether should we get a double bottom here? Should we get a double bottom? We break, come for retest. We'll be interested in taking the buys from this zone. Or should we get a head and shoulder formation within this zone, an inverse head and shoulder formation within this zone? we'll be very interested in taking the buys from here. Should price also pull back to this second zone or second area of interest, we'll still look out for these reversal signs or reversal confirmations, then we can take our decision from there. So we are very, very bullish on USDJPY. Let's move on to the next. We have EURJPY. So for EURJPY, from last week, we were expecting price to pull back to this area of interest and give us buying confirmations. As you can see, price actually tipped the area of interest. So let's give it some time to see what will develop around this area. Then we'll look for buying opportunities to take it to the upside. Until then, should price break below this zone, this second zone below here, and count for a retest, then we will consider EURJPY bearish. But until then, we are also very extremely bullish on EURJPY. We also have the CADJPY, this setup from last week, where we were expecting price to give us the very first reaction from this very first zone. Price broke it and came to the second zone as we predicted or anticipated, and give us this strong bullish candle, which is yet to engulf the previous candle. So we'll wait for more price action to give us some confirmations or to give us some certainty that we really want to buy to the upside. So let's give this setup some time to develop, then we can decide on what to do or what position we should take on this trade. So we are also very bullish on CADJPY. We have here EURAUD, and on EURAUD, if we drop down to the 1 hour time frame, we have this harmonic pattern developing, which is a possible crab pattern. So this is our X, this is our X, this is our this is our A, this is our B, this is our C, and our D is what we are expecting the price is going to hit here to complete this crab pattern. So we are looking forward to this crab pattern. So for the coming week, we are looking forward to a pullback within this zone. Should price pull back within this zone and we get buying confirmations, we will be very much interested in taking the buys to complete this crab pattern. And as you correlate it with GBP-CAD, we can see that we also have a pattern developing on GBP-CAD, where we were expecting price to complete a butterfly pattern. So we might see some upside coming from these major or this EURCAD or GBP-CAD. Let's be patient and wait for price to develop some more so we can take our opportunities to the upside. So we have here EURAUD. So for EURAUD, we're looking forward to this one daily godly pattern from last week, and we're expecting price to pull back within this zone and give us some buying confirmations. So price actually reacted slightly there and then just took off. So for the coming week, if we are fortunate to get price to pull back into this area of interest again, or within this somewhere around this zone, we'll be much interested in looking for buying opportunities to take this buys to the upside to complete this daily godly pattern on EURAUD. So let's give it some time to develop, then we know what to do with EURAUD. So this can only shift bearish if price breaks below this zone and continues to the downside. Until then, we are bullish on EURAUD. We have here Brent crude oil or UKOIL. Last week we were expecting price to pull back to somewhere around these regions to give us the selling opportunities, but we're not fortunate to see that. So for the coming week, we might look forward to a pullback to this area of interest and this new area of interest and give us selling opportunities to the downside, targeting the second target that we had or the second TP that we had from the previous episodes. So we are very bearish on Brent crude oil or UKOIL for the coming week. We have here S&P 500, and so for the S&P 500, we had this strong bearish engulf, this structural shift, this daily structural shift here. So the structure shifted here, and it's looking more like a head and shoulder formation. So as you can see, the price actually developing here. We're much interested to see a daily candle break this structural low. If we get a daily candle to break the structural low and give us a retest, we'll be looking forward to selling opportunities to the upside and to the downside to this very zone we have here. So let's look out for it for the coming week. And so price can shift bullish if we see price break above this structural high and then counts for retest and continues to the upside. Until then, we'll be interested in the sells for USD, for the S&P 500 for the coming week. We also have here Australia 200. So last week there was this very nice reaction that's happened here, but we were not able to partake in it. So last week we had price around this area of interest, and we're looking forward to some clarity within this zone before we take our buy. So we got this nice consolidation within this zone, and price took off. So we're anticipating that price was going to come for a retest of this structural high and continue to the upside, and it never came, and it just went straight, but we didn't reach our very first TP. So for the coming week, should price pull back into this very first zone or within this second zone and is giving buying confirmations, we'll be interested in taking the buys to the upside for Australia 200. So let's look forward to that. It should price break or clear all these areas of interest and comes or breaks below this zone, we'll be looking forward to selling opportunities to the downside for Australia 200. And so we also have German 30, and for German 30 we're looking forward to a possible pullback into this zone for price to give us some selling opportunities for us to sell to the downside. So we'll only consider this bullish if we have price break above this zone or break above the structural high, comes for a retest and then continues to the upside. So the bonus I have for you this week is Bitcoin, and for Bitcoin, let's go to higher time frame. Yes, so for Bitcoin we have this dynamic support that is flowing through this area. So for the weeks or coming weeks, we'll be looking forward to a possible pullback into this support, or this support which coincides with the area of interest. Should price pull back within this zone around $100,000 and $93,000 within that zone, should price pull back within this zone and give us buying confirmations like a reversal pattern, an inverted and shoulder, a double bottom, or anything that shows that price is ready to move to the upside, we'll be interested in taking the buys on BTC USD. So let's hold on and see how price is going to retrace into this area of interest. Then we'll be much interested in taking the buys. Should price violate this zone, we would also look out for this second zone below and look for buying opportunities from that side. So I really appreciate you for sticking through to this point of this video and for taking your time to be here. I really appreciate you so much. I'll encourage you that as we move into this new trading week, apply proper risk management, trade safe and sound, and be safe out there. I wish you a profitable and a fruitful week ahead of us. So let's see. I'll catch you guys on another episode. Take care and have a wonderful time. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video and like it as well. Bye.